Alright guys, we're back here making a live edge bench. I used my router plane to flatten this thing out the other day, and as I was planing through it, there's a big internal crack right in the middle of the slab. Not much you can do about that. It's just the nature of wood. So what are we going to do? We got to make it look as pretty as possible. So when you can't hide a big crack, you got to accentuate it. Put something cool in there, like a bow tie spline, you know what I'm saying? So, I know you can just go to the woodworking store and buy some little router jig for bow tie splines. It's all made up for you and it just takes a few minutes, but those bow tie splines just don't look good compared to unique hand-drawn bow tie splines. So I do my bow tie splines freehand. It really doesn't take much time. Just got a laminate trimmer router here. Little fluted straight blade in there. And what I do is I just freehand draw my bow tie splines, whatever shape I want that I think looks cool. Go on the bandsaw, cut them all out, trace them once they're sanded, trace them directly where I want them. And then I just freehand router them out with this. You know, by going in half an inch for the first pass and then go a little bit deeper. I think these are about 3/4 of an inch deep. You don't have to go that deep, but that definitely makes a strong joint. And yeah, I just get probably within a 1/16 of the line, and then I just pare the rest down with a chisel. It's super easy. Your bow tie splines will fit nice and tight, and yeah, ups your skill level. Alright, so I got my bow tie splines roughed out on the bandsaw. Then what I'm going to do is just grab my belt sander. Because my bow tie splines have a little bit of a curve to them, I don't use a straight angular kind of design. I use like a crescent curved kind of design. I think I don't know, it's just my style, you know? You all got your own style. I don't judge you. So yeah, just I use the belt sander. You could use a file if yours are straight, or a sanding block, or whatever you want to use, but belt sander works great for me. What I do, here's a little tip for you, is just put a slight taper, you know, pick what side's going to be the upside of your dovetail, and then just taper your edges a tiny bit down. And that way, when you pound the dovetail in, it gets tighter and tighter as it gets flusher and flusher, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's just a little helpful thing. That way you don't have to necessarily have your edges pared perfectly straight down, because there's a bit of a taper on it, and it's just going to wedge itself in there. And once it's wedged super tight, even if it hasn't bottomed out in the slot that's cut for, it doesn't matter. You just sand it off flush, and it looks bling bling, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I do. Put a slight taper on it. Don't get too carried away, just a little bit, you know, not even a 1/16. And that's how you get super tight bow ties every time. As you can see, I have my bow tie splines all sanded up with slight tapers on them. And yeah, I'm just going to lay them out where I want them. And then once you got them where you want them, you just trace them on there. Now realize that you've got the slight taper, right? So when you trace it on, you're tracing the small end, right? So you want to, you know, at least take your line right off when you are chiseling down with your pencil, so that way, you know, you'll get this thing in there. It won't be super tight right off the get-go, but as you pound this thing down, it'll get tighter because the top is wider than the bottom. Alright, so I've chiseled out my bow tie mortises, and then before you pound the bow ties in, basically take a little bit of glue, throw it on all four edges. Don't put it in the bottom of the mortise because it'll prevent your bow tie from getting pounded all the way in. And then I just take off the inside corners a little bit because always, you know, it's hard to get the corners cleaned out perfectly well. So if you just carve off the bottom part of the corner, don't touch the top edge, obviously, that'll be showing. Then it'll go in smooth. You won't have any problems pounding it in. So yeah, glue them in, pound them in, sand them flush, you're done. See, so you can go to the hardware store and buy some box template jig that'll router out a bow tie spline for you, but they're not gonna look as sweet as these. So there you have it. Freehand, freestyle bow tie splines. Definitely takes a bit more time, but adds a lot of artistic value, and yeah, looks way better. You're welcome.